Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't got Fortnite installed. No, but I can cloud play it. Let's go. Cool. Do it here. What are you playing, Warzone? Cloud gaming. Yeah, install for the best experience. No, thank you.
Check your save. Check. Cool, I think I figured out a way to get you in the stream now. So we can hear you.
What do you mean not signed in, brother? I'm signing that shit right now. Update required.
Check 1, 2.
Rock your body, mic check 1, 2.
Check.
So, oh, you silly Billy. The fuck, bro? The fuck are you doing, bro? The fuck, bro?
Alright, so let me see here.
Give me 1 sec, I'll be back now. Give me 1 sec, I'll be back now.
Alright. Not gonna want to work all smooth. Got this one. Not gonna want to work all smooth. See that actually. It's Warzone. It's Warzone. Still be able to hear me. This one, right? That's great. This one, yeah. Talking about that's not working. Jesus fucking Christ. This shit's fucking retarded, bro. I'm so tired of. You can't hear me? Why are you muted? You ain't got no headset.
Ja, dat kan je me dan.
Yeah. It was like, it was showing that you didn't have no headset.
Yeah, I was just on me wel.
Okay, I was reading no message then. I was like, alright, hold on real quick. Let me make sure that I can still hear you. No headset.
Yeah, I was just on me wel.
Shit, yeah. Okay, I was reading. Alright. Make sure everything was Gucci Gang bandanas. I'm getting tired of having this goddamn issue. Damn it! Alright, cool. Woo! Cool. Alright, sounds good. Fuck yeah, brother. I hope I'm not listening bad. We're looking good. No glitching, no different, no diving. That crash? Got that crash team racing still?
Yeah, man.
Bro, let's play some of that bullshit. I got Splitgate as well. It's Batman. So there's a DayZ installation stop. Like, what the fuck's been trying to download on DayZ? I haven't played DayZ in like so long either. That's still working good. Oh wait, nope, it needs an update. Knew it. I knew it. I had a feeling it needed an update. Oh yeah, so gotta remind myself to always raid when I end. The last 2 nights I have been, but right there I was fucking off. Pow, 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 pow. Gonna say click or tap here to continue playing a little bit until I finish doing this real quick. So just bear with me. Quick share real quick. Pow, pow, pow. Just say a whole bunch right now, so it's probably gonna be a little glitchy today. Say click or tap here to continue playing a little bit until I It's fucking glitching. I mean, oh, damn it. Here we go. Right. Alright, better. This is better. Alright, now. Let me switch camera views real quick, get this going real quick, and then, oh, ready to go, ready to go. What are we doing? What do you want to do? Can you hear me? There, you. I didn't even change anything. Look, that's nothing. I done nothing. You me. But you're not in there. Oh, what the fuck? Oh fuck. I don't know what to do, I guess. I'll just try. This is stupid. In a fucking. Alright, so we got that going. Let me get some music going real quick. And, Hell yeah, I was just checking that shit what it was doing. That's sick. Okay, Fortnite. I was trying, man. He's not getting me to Bro, let's go! Let's go!
Guess what time it is? Guess what time it is? Guess what time it is, boys and girls all around the world? It is that time. It is that time right now. We're going to be playing some Fortnite. Fortnite is what we're going to be playing. Let's go. Yeah, baby. Let's fucking do this shit. Should probably roll up something real quick before I get into game real quick. So that's what's gonna happen. Let's go. Good shit. Damn, I just fucking chipped my fucking tooth, I think, man. Fuck. That hurt. Son of a bitch. Anyway, how's everyone's day going? Mine's freaking fantastic. I'm having a wonderful day right now, actually. Trying to, at least. Um, Today we're about to be, playing some Fortnite. We're gonna be introducing a new one. My buddy, Jeff. He's awesome. He's awesome, people. My name Jeff. He's gonna be part of the squad that I'm in the process of trying to build and shit. So, he's got his own shit going on, of course, as well as just like all the other guys. So, um, but he's gonna be an awesome new addition to our streamer squad. Streamer squad, yeah. Shit, I ain't got my soundboard to make anything fun and shit. So yeah, that's the only thing that kind of sucks right now. But I don't really feel like I gotta get my little tablet in order and stuff, man. This tablet sucks. It doesn't want to stay on. It doesn't want to stay on whenever I want to use it and stuff. Like, it's just, I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm gonna try it right now. Let's see what happens. We're gonna try to have a soundboard, guys. I definitely want one. You know, I love having the memes and the sounds and the, you know, that makes it real fun. Makes it real good and fun. You know, so you know, yeah. Yeah, buddy, of course. Hell yeah. I'm also gonna have to roll up too real quick before we start playing, cause your boy gotta have something to smoke on. I ain't gonna sit here and fucking not, you know. So that's gonna happen as well. So yeah. I'm drinking this old ass coffee. It's not even old, it's just cold, actually. Um, yeah. Hyped up on caffeine, baby. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Yeah, baby. I'm kind of fucking feeling. Woo, 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 woo! Oh, alright. Oh, alright. Not to mention, like, I always try to, like, download. Like, it takes forever to try to download anything on this fucking thing, man. I tell you what, it's ridiculous. This little tablet is trash. It's a trash ass tablet. I don't even know. Q links. What the fuck? I don't know. What a fucking joke. What a joke. What a joke. Try again. What do you mean? Authentication. Pretty hot in here, dude. Fuck. It's really hot. Weather's like super hot everywhere right now, man. My bad. I'm in lock-in mode trying to roll this up, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to speed up my process. If anybody's in here watching, they're probably like, "What the fuck is this dude doing?" I'm in the process of trying to roll up, brother. Give me a second. So I've been watching One Piece the last few days, and then as I was trying to go and I was gonna start watching another episode, like the new season and stuff. Man, tell me why I've been using Crunchyroll. I got a 7-day. I haven't used it yet, but I got a 7-day um trial period, and I'm thinking about using it, right? But like I don't know, man. Like $7.99 for all the anime you can watch, bro. Like I'm kind of like I don't know, man. I'm kind of like trying to make a decision if I should or not. What do you guys think? You guys think I should? I think I should do it. Somebody else like use what do you guys use to watch like your anime and shit? Because right now I've been using like Crunchyroll and shit like that. So that's what I've been using. What do you guys be using? A nice one, you know. Let's go! What's up with this shit lately, bro? She's been acting retarded. My God. This whole Xbox app's just been fucking trouble, man. Does anybody have any issues lately with the Xbox app? Like I have been? Fuck. It's ridiculous. Can't fucking do shit. Alright, let's try again. No, no, work for me, baby. Work for me, work for me. There we go, baby. There we go, baby. Alright, alright, alright. Alright. It's working good. Let me turn this back. Man, I really wish I could get my sound bar going, right? Shit! My little memes. Fuck! Where are my people at? Oh, where could they be?
Alright, now I'm switched over to here. Alright, now I'm switched over. Probably still good and fucking loud. So, I just keep going. Making sure everybody can still hear me. Donkey, okay, donkey. I'm having a double up, probably because I got two microphones going, so I can do it. Oh yeah. Hold on, I'm grabbing me something to drink on. I haven't even ate. Okay, no more. I'm just making sure everything's coming in, dude. I'm gonna get you, get you, I'm gonna get you. I got you. Where's my boy at? See if he's in the lobby real quick. He gets a hold of me here soon. I don't see nobody getting. Let's go. You better stop glitching on me, dog. Fuck shit, that shit. That shit. Pushing the apps, apples. Breath it, have it, and slice me some apple real quick. So just give me a second. Give me a second. I think you still hear me. I don't know. You might not. Who knows? Hey, hold. Let's do this shit, dog. Okay, I got my apples and peanut butter. Let's fucking go. Hey, that is my pre-game snack for today, y'all. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Oh, kitty cat. Let's go. Bye. Hey. Yeah. That's your butt. After a hot, sweaty day, that's what I'm doing to your butt. Yeah. After after a long, sweaty day, guess what I'm gonna do to your butt? Look at this prison life shit. Yeah. Damn, Marvin!
Deku.
She's sick!
What? Yeah, Deku.
Hello? 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 How are you? Hello, friend. How are you? You got too much going on. Help me. Help, help me. Help me. I have too much going on. What are you doing? Hello?
Ah, you should have done it without prison.
I can leave.
Ah! Crime wars.
You need to put it. You're very loud. Very loud. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Killer. Where? Oh my god. Oh my god. Back up, Miss Kitty. Bad kitty. Bad. Bad kitty. Kitty, back up. My peanut butter. Oh, maybe you can lick a little bit of maybe you can lick a little bit, but no more peanut butter for you. No peanut butter for you. Bad kitty. Do you have a cat? I have a cat. I have a few kitties. I have a few kitties. Do you have a kitty? Hello, do you have a cat? I have a cat. Got her. Good job. Do you have a kitty? I have a kitty. Kitty, kitty. Hello? 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 Do you have a kitty? I have a kitty. Bob! Yeah, back up. Bob! Bad Bob! Ah! Bad Bob! Eat him! Bob couldn't stand a chance. What? You won't make it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, it's a little one. Ah! Boom, blow him up. Blow him up, blow him up. Good. Nobody. Remain depraved. Yeah. No. 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 I said no. I said no way, Jose. Don't worry. Not the ding dong, sure. Oh my, what's that? Remind me of your mom. Hey, mama said, hey. I do too, your mom. Your mom, duh. My mom too. Your mom, my mom. Oh my god, what, we're brothers? Oh my goodness, I didn't even know. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The wickedy witch is dead. We're talking about your mom. Oh! Your mom. Your mom, duh. Nah, you get out of here. Mom's better. Mom's better. Okay, I'm better. Whoa! What am I? What am I doing? Whoa, what is this? Get away from me. Get away from me. Mom. Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Hanksy! You little shit! You really want some peanut butter that bad? What? You're a nut. I don't think you like peanut butter that much. Alright, girl, you ate enough. You're something else, Jinx. I love you. You silly girl, dude. You just started licking the peanut. Started licking the peanut butter off the dang off my dang butter knife. You crazy cat. Crazy cat.
Where are you, Mega Godzilla? Oh my gosh. Is Becky on your freaking side, bro? Obviously he is.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Why we gonna put this guy up, brother?
Ah!
Alright, bro, you ain't my brother, are you? Freaking prisoner, bro. How is he not dying? I know. That's because he's in a freaking corner, bro. What the heck? What the heck?
The heck is right. You hear me? I'm gonna get you. You hear me? I told you. I hope you hear me good and clear.
Oh my gosh. No.
I'm gonna get you.
That's not allowed, buddy.
I'm gonna get you. Messed up, man. Messed up. Help you hear me.
I'm a hostage, buddy.
Sir, hear me. Hear me?
I'm a hostage.
Mr.
And
Hostage.
everybody likes a hostage.
Nobody like, I don't like you. Left down with me.
Look, you don't even know what that means, brother.
What?
What is it then?
What do I not know?
Yeah.
You don't know nothing.
Bro, I'm already at max.
You don't know nothing.
You are such a sucker and
Bro! Why?
I've got so far. I've got so far. There's no one in this world making you wait. Where is my cell at, bro? I've been looking at it for. There it is.
I'm trying to figure out how to set this.
Yeah, you're too scared to come out and fight. You're scared to come out and fight.
Can you hear me though? Why can't I not? Hello?
Hello? Hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah. I can't. This is stupid! This is stupid! Shit! Your mom! I don't like you! It sucks! No! What the fuck? You ain't shit. You suck. You ain't shit. Suck. Bye. I'm out of here, bro. This shit's lame. This is this is lame, just like my streams, bro. Shit. Shit. Yee. My streams are so lame. Yee. Hell, a lot of people over here at this mega ramp, so let's check it out. Mega ramp about this mega ramp about? Tired. Damn it. There's nobody even in the game with me. Hold on. Oh, it's a ramp. Right? Oh, it's a ramp. Fuck. That was jumping on mega ramp. Yeah, mega rainbow ramp. What just happened? I love the fucking mega ramp to be like, hello, you fucking don't seem to have a fucking actual ramp. What's going on here, guys? I mean, shit. Alright. 5, 6, 7. I mean, 8. 9. Oh. What? I am ass at this. Oh, I started getting a little like you're killing like fuck. Bro, this is tough lightweight. No! Oh!
that? Oh shit. We gotta make it to, oh, fuck you! We gotta make it to my new birthday number, which is, whoa, fuck! 33. I'm not really happy. Fuck, I'm stuck! Immediately stuck now. Bro, how? How? Bro, how? Got it. I think I got it. That was crazy. No! Bro, this is fucking nuts! How? How? How is this possible? Not even possible. Five. For six. Wow. Going super fast now. Hey. 9. Jesus Christ. 32. Yeah, can do this as soon as you close your eyes and you fall out off the track. That's why you do not close your eyes. I'm not drinking to drive because I can't see that. 33. I feel like I'm actually 32, probably 32. Wow.
Oh my god. Big old drip drip. Big old drip drip. I'm tired. So I don't know if you already knew this and that's why you're laying there, but you should have already knew better, baby. Something real quick. I'm about to switch this over into TV show real quick because making something to eat real quick. Oh shit, I didn't realize there was. How much one we should do? Or is this enough?
For 7 years, I was working undercover as a spy, and I needed to know how to manipulate, how to live and operate without ever being detected, and how to collect secrets.
Okay, I've got so many questions.
Andrew Bustamante.
He's a former CIA officer
who uses spy skills
to teach anyone how to master their mind, talents, and potential in business and everyday life.
When I left CIA, I realized that I could use CIA skills to succeed in business. One of the first things you should want to learn is how do I know if I'm being lied to. As an example, bad liars. That is one of the biggest tells of an unskilled liar. Next, people have 4 basic core motivations: reward, ideology, coercion, and ego. And if you can speak to somebody through the lens of their ideology, you can get them to do incredible things.
Perception versus perspective.
Just letting you guys know.
90% of the people out there, they're all trapped in their own perception, in thinking emotionally. Their emotions are very likely wrong. So CIA trains us to recognize and distrust our perception. And there's 2 really quick things that you can do. Next, SADRAT. It's an acronym. And all of our marketing, all of our human interactions falls into the same SADRAT process that I learned at CIA, because the human condition is so predictable. So SADRAT stands for, and it's the reason my company has grown 300% every year for the last 3 years.
I want to know more. Was there situations where you felt your life was at risk? What do you think about what's going on at the moment with geopolitics? Do you think we're already engaged in a form of World War III? And then why are you going to try and leave America in 2027? It's absolutely crazy to me that so many of you have decided to watch our show, and so many of you have decided to subscribe to our show. We now have 5 million subscribers on YouTube, which is a number that I just can't comprehend. And it's a dream that I absolutely never could have had. We started the Diary of a CEO just over 3 years ago now. And in my wildest expectations, we might have had 100,000 subscribers by now. So you can imagine how shocked I am that so many of you have chosen to tune into these conversations every week and spend some time with us. So thank you. And I made a deal with you. I made a deal that if you subscribe to this show, that we would continue to raise the bar. And in 2024, we're going to raise the bar like never before. I've been working for the last 9 months on a surprise for all of you that have subscribed to this show, and I'm very excited to deliver that for you. The production's going to change. We're going to go even further with our guests, and we're going to tell even more global stories. So as always, if you appreciate what we're doing here, the simple, free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Let's get on with the episode. Andrew, you're well known for your time in the CIA because people are so intrigued and compelled by it. How long were you in the CIA?
I was actually in the CIA for a comparatively short period. I was only in for 7 years. Many people make a 30 or more year career out of CIA. So it was really quite a small blip in terms of my overall life. I wore the US military uniform for 7 years before that as well. So 14 years total spent in service to the United States.
And what is the CIA?
So the CIA is the United States' intelligence, foreign intelligence collection platform. Their primary agency deemed with collecting foreign secrets that have any kind of impact in American national security. So if you think about it, there are multiple what's called intelligence agencies in what's known as the intelligence community, or the IC. CIA is just one of those 36-ish community members in the IC. However, it is the one charged with centralizing all of the intelligence collected, hence the Central Intelligence Agency. So it's the hub in a large wheel of intelligence collection.
Is that what a spy is? Is it the same thing as being a spy?
So I'll geek out with you a little bit here because terminology is really very important. So there are spies, and spy is a vernacular that's used in common conversation that doesn't really have a definition in terms of the intelligence or espionage profession. You have handlers, you have assets in terms of traditional espionage. Handlers are officers who collect intelligence. Assets are foreigners who provide intelligence to the handler. So a CIA officer or an MI6 officer, a Mossad officer, an MSS officer, depending on the country, these are officers who collect secrets. They are therefore handlers. Mm-hmm. And then all the people who provide them secrets are considered assets. Traditionally speaking, when you talk about a spy, some people think a spy is an asset or a handler, either someone who provides information or someone who collects information.
Okay.
And the term spy is just confusing enough that oftentimes people will project their own opinions on top of that word because they don't understand the real nuance of espionage.
So I thought of a spy as someone that goes to another country and collects information secretly and then sends it back to the country they came from.
So technically that is an intelligence operative,
okay,
or an intelligence officer, also known as an operator, or in media, an operative. Sometimes it's also called an agent, right? An intelligence agent. These are all kind of terms that get nebulous, but what you're describing is a trained intelligence officer. No matter what country you're in, whether you're in, it doesn't matter what intelligence profession you're in either, and there are multiple types of intelligence. There's human intelligence, signals intelligence, measurements intelligence. Anybody who travels to collect secrets on behalf of their country is an intelligence officer.
Is that what you were?
That's what I was.
You started a company after leaving the CIA called Everyday Spy.
Correct.
For someone that's just clicked on this podcast now, who's trying to understand the value that they're going to get from you by understanding the work that you do at Everyday Spy, what are they going to get from this conversation?
This conversation is designed for me, to be able to explain how spy skills have a very real value in breaking everyday barriers. And that's the mission of my company at Everyday Spy. We use spy education to break barriers, social barriers, financial barriers, educational barriers, cultural barriers, language barriers. If there is a barrier in life, I've made it my mission in my company to break that barrier using a proven real-world skill or technique from espionage.
And what sort of means is that to what end? So if I'm, the average Joe listening to this now, when you say break barriers, what are those barriers that I'm going to be able to break in my life?
Up to
So
6 minutes, but
I
I don't
intentionally use the term breaking barriers because we
Up to
all
6
have different
minutes,
barriers.
my ass. Come
What
on now.
the reality of life is that
But-
we all come into barriers
Right, I don't know.
that are similar, but we come into those barriers at different times. For some people, there's a barrier in income that they're born into. For other people, the barrier that they're born into is that they don't have a father. For other people, they come into a financial barrier when they're 18 and they have to leave home. Some people don't ever know financial barriers, but they do know educational barriers because they suffer from dyslexia or they suffer from ADHD. There are people who have barriers that are due to anxiety. The reality is there's really 12 or so barriers that we will all experience in our life, but we will experience them at different times. For some of us, it won't happen until we become parents. For others, it happens as soon as we hit adulthood. The idea is that CIA is extremely familiar with barriers. And what they teach us as officers going through their training programs is not just the details of tradecraft, but it's really to understand that any barrier that we as individuals face, they can get us through. But we can also predict barriers other people will run into. And if you know somebody else's barrier and you understand their barrier better than they do, when you help them through that barrier, they will tell you secrets.
They will tell me secrets. As part of your training to become a CIA officer, you must have learned how to manipulate people. That seems to me, from what I know of spies, pretty foundational to what it is to be a successful spy and to get information from someone else. In this conversation today, are we going to learn how, through your training, you were taught to get information from people and make them do what you wanted them to do?
Yes. And I'll be very frank here. I try to exercise something called radical transparency. If you want to manipulate people, you will learn that from this conversation. If you want to manipulate people, I will teach you how to manipulate people. In just a simple conversation, you can learn those skills. But the thing to understand that's the most important is that whether you want to manipulate or not, others are manipulating you just because you don't know what they're doing, right? The problem with being an intelligence operator is that to achieve the things you have to achieve, you sometimes have to do things that you don't want to do. In being a business owner, what I've discovered is that many business owners struggle because they feel like they have to do things they don't want to do. They feel like they have to be sleazy. They feel like they have to be tricky. They feel like they have to mimic, shyster, bad guy business owners, right? The flip side, if you think of a coin, one side of that coin is manipulation. And that coin has value. Manipulation has value. But the other side of the same coin is motivation. If you can get people to do what they want to do, then you have motivated them. And that is worth just as much as getting people to do what you want them to do, which is manipulating them.
We'll get into all of that, but I want to understand where you came from, because I think this is quite pertinent to both your work as a CIA officer, but also there's really interesting sort of psychological elements to why the CIA chose you that are deep within your childhood story. Going right back to the beginning of your life, what is the most important context we need to understand you?
I think the most important thing to understand from my childhood is that I was raised by my mom. My father died. My father was killed before I was born. He died in a violent crime in California. I didn't know him ever. And my mom had to start life with a newborn son, not just as a single mom, but also as the single mom of a man who was killed in a crime. So it was my mom and my grandma that raised me from very young. My mom is a woman of color. She's Latina. My father was American Indian. So there was an element of racial diversity in 1980 when I was born that also kind of played a role in all of that. And the reason that that's important is not because of what happened in the past. It's because from that foundation, my mom married a Caucasian man who became my stepdad, who became my adopted father as well. And I had to kind of learn how to come of age, or literally come of age, in a household where I didn't know my father. I had a stepdad who was Caucasian with two half-sisters who were Caucasian. And my stepdad's whole goal was to just pull my mom as far away from her roots as possible because he didn't want to deal with all the drama that comes from being part of a Catholic Latin family. And my mom was all for that, but nevertheless, like that was the kind of soup that I came out of.
What were the needs that were going unmet in your life at that point?
You do not ask easy questions, man. So I was not, I did not feel loved. Growing up, I did not feel loved. My mother loved me, and I know logically and rationally that she loved me. But my mother was a cold woman. She was focused on career success. She was focused on feminism. She was focused on other things. I as an adult now, my sisters and I often reflect on the fact that we think our mom was the kind of woman that didn't want to be a mom, but it was expected of her to be a mom. So therefore she became a mom. So there wasn't a lot of love. There wasn't a lot of emotional support. There was plenty of academic support. And it was always hard because the academic support came, I think, as a way of making sure that they didn't have to provide the other support. Because if you have an academically successful student who turns 18, they can get the fuck out of the house and you can have your life back. And I think that was the mission for my mom, was just academic success, academic success. Be successful so I don't have to take care of you, because I'm not really good at this whole hugging, loving thing. And I just want you gone. So I feel like that was my mom. My dad and my mom, I think, had a marriage that was based in a common set of objectives, more so than shared love. And they were just kind of pursuing those objectives. And I was fortunate because from that, I was cultivated to be a hardworking academic success. And that led to a full ride scholarship, and that led to, success in other parts of life. But for sure, it left behind a trail of always wondering who loves me in my family. Is love even important in a family? Does it matter? Or am I being too focused on this whole love thing? As an example, I tell this story because it's totally normal to me, but a lot of other people find it surprising. There was a day where my mom pulled me aside. I was having an argument with my stepdad, and I went to my mom looking for support, and I asked her to support me. I was like, do you love me? Right? Do you love me, or do you love dad more? And she looked at me and she was like, of course I love your dad more than I love you, because you're my son. I have to love you. You were born to me. I must love you, but it's a choice to love your dad. So I have to love him more because it's a choice. And for me, I will never forget that conversation. I'll never forget the look on my mom's face. It was so simple and so academic and so clear to her. And it's never been something I could ever actually accept. And even now, as a husband and a father myself, I don't understand how that was logically sound to her. I don't know how you could ever actually prioritize who you love.
All of that, as you've said, as the resulted in your academic success and your focus and all of those kinds of things. But at what cost?
I mean, it makes you kind of fucked up, man. It makes you feel like, first of all, it makes you feel like your secrets are justified. It makes you feel like you must have secrets because there's nobody that you can talk to about certain things. I remember for many years, you can't take your love life to mom and dad. You can't tell them the girl that you think is cute. You can't talk to them about not getting picked to go to the prom dance or anything like that. You can't talk about that with them because they don't care. And you can't trust your sisters. You can't trust your mom. You can't trust your dad. You can't trust the people in your own house. So because you can't trust them and because you can't take certain things to them, you must keep secrets. And since you must keep secrets, you must be allowed to keep secrets. There must be secrets that are totally acceptable that they are also keeping from you. So I grew up in a world where secrets were something that was very normal. And then from that, you start to learn that if secrets are normal, then lying must also be normal and totally acceptable. So there's a level of sociopathy that develops when you feel like you're on your own. And that's something that most people out there who are loners, who have grown up in that world, they learn to understand that there are certain elements of social behavior that are not culturally acceptable, but as long as you don't talk about them, you can practice them. So that's a big part of what I learned personally, was that secrets, how to keep secrets, that secrets are normal, how to lie without being caught, and more importantly, that there is a very real difference between the people the people who are raised in a world where they trust people, they trust others, and because they trust others, they have a built-in vulnerability, a built-in deficiency of compared to the people who are raised in a world where they don't trust others. Because when you're raised in a world where you don't trust, you can always learn to trust. But when you're raised in a world where you trust first, it's very difficult to train that person to know when to not trust someone else.
How do you feel about that wiring that you have because of that experience?
I mean, it's sad. I'm doing everything in my power to not wire my children the same way that I was wired. So I do believe that there is a faulty wiring that happened. But at the same time, it's been very valuable to me. It's been very productive and valuable in terms of what I've been able to experience, what I've been able to see and do financially, economically, relationally. I benefit and value. And this is a big challenge that I have is as much as I sit here telling friends and like I'm telling you secrets, because this is what happens. We tell people secrets when they trust you. When I share with you the challenges of growing up, it's important to me that I don't sound like I'm complaining or whining because I had a fantastic foundation for success after that. But I defined success in all the ways that I was trained to define success, financially, economically, empirically, not based on how I feel internally.
Have you had to do a lot of work to counteract the potential consequences of that wiring as you become an adult and a father and all of those things? It's something I think about a lot. I think I've got my own pretty fucked up wiring, and I'm scared now because I'm on the footsteps of becoming a dad myself. You know, I'm with a partner, been with her for 4 years. We're talking about kids right now, and I think, Jesus Christ, like there's a really, you almost can foresee that there's a really high possibility I'm going to fuck up as a dad because my brain is wired towards like validation and work, career success, and I'm a bit of a workaholic. And so have you had to do a lot of work on that?
Absolutely. So the first thing I'll say is you will fuck up as a dad. We will all fuck up as parents. The question is, how big will we fuck them up? And I'm working very hard to make sure that the way that I fuck up my kids is in small ways that they can fix in small ways. But I already know like the sins of the father pass on. So I'm just trying to minimize what I pass on that's negative and maximize what I pass on that's positive. The additional layer that is unique to myself and all professional intelligence officers is that when we are recruited into intelligence service, specifically when CIA recruits field operators, it's fairly transparent. They tell you that you were recruited because you are a little fucked up. They tell you that you were recruited because of a certain psychological profile that makes it so that you pragmatically view things like secrets and lies. There's a few different terms. We call it moral flexibility. Depending on the situation, there are some things that I would deem immoral, but to do them in a different situation is totally acceptable. And that's just something that I'm wired to be, that's been wired in me since I was a kid, but CIA understands how to take advantage of that, how to use that in a way that benefits American national security. There's also an element of high performance that comes from being wired a certain way. So there is a tie between childhood trauma and high performance. It's a documented connection, but CIA has learned, as has MI6 and Mossad and all the other intelligence services of the world, they've learned that when you train someone who has just the right amount of childhood trauma high performance, when you get your hands on them at the right time in the right period of their life, they can be trained to become extremely loyal, highly productive field operators that end up spending 30 plus years in service to their nation.
When did they get their hands on you?
They recruited me when I was 27 years old, coming out of the military in 2007. I was looking for whatever the next step was going to be, and that was when I was approached by a CIA recruiter.
I heard that you've got a pop-up on your computer screen.
Yeah, back in the day, that's I was actually applying. I was a nuclear missile officer for the CIA, excuse me, I was a nuclear missile officer for the Air Force. And a nuclear missile officer in the Air Force controls nuclear ICBMs. So I wore the little ring.
Wait. What's a nuclear ICBM?
So a nuclear ICBM is a nuclear intercontinental ballistic missile. So the large missiles that carry nuclear warheads for mutually assured destruction, nuclear war type stuff.
So you controlled
the nuclear missiles?
I was half of who controlled them. I wore one ring, somebody else wore a different ring, and that was how a nuclear missile got launched.
What does the ring do?
So the ring is a key. On the end of it is a key, and when you get a nuclear code that comes in, the code you put it into an old school computer system, and the two of you take your key ring and you insert it into the silo operating system, and then you turn in unison, and when you turn in unison, it launches a nuclear weapon.
How did you get yourself to the point in life at 27 years old where you're holding a nuclear key around your neck?
I would love to say it was a series of good decisions, but it wasn't. I did what I was told. That's how I got there. I did what I was told when I was in high school, and I got good grades. And then my mom told me that the best school of all the universities that chose me, the best school I should go to is the Air Force Academy. So then I accepted a full-ride scholarship to the United States Air Force Academy, where I did what I was told, and I graduated as a lieutenant. And then I followed what the Air Force told me to do from there. They told me to learn how to fly, and then they told me that they needed me to work in nuclear and space weapons instead. So then I went to that school, and I did well at that school, and I ended up just kind of climbing the ladder. I did what I was told, and then one day I found myself 100 feet underground, miserable.
Fucking good.
It's a horrible job.
Why?
So in 2007, when I was a nuclear missile officer, you sit in a launch control capsule, an LCC, that sits 100 feet underground. And you sit there on a 72-hour shift with one other person, the other person who holds the other key. And then you are one nuclear crew of maybe 30 different nuclear crews who are all on deployment at the same time. So at any given time, in one Air Force base, there's 60-ish people underground for 72 hours at a time. And then in a different missile base, there'll be a different 60 people underground. And your whole job is just to sit there and wait for nuclear war to break out. And obviously nuclear war hasn't broken out, and hopefully it never will break out. So as you sit there underground, not seeing sunlight, and as you sit there in a capsule with one other person that you very rarely ever like, you have a lot of time to reflect on what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I'm a redundancy of a redundancy of a scenario that we all are working very hard to make sure never happens. Is this a productive life? Like, am I making a difference? Am I leaving a mark in history, sitting here, not launching missiles, waiting for a message to come in that I already know isn't going to lead to nuclear war? It's a very difficult and thankless job that even right now, as you and I are having this conversation, there are some 200 Americans sitting underground doing that exact job. And that's just in the United States. Every country that has nuclear weapons is doing the same thing.
If an order had come in
It's fucking nuts.
that instructed you to launch a nuclear weapon, would you have done it?
Absolutely. That's what you do. The other thing that's important to understand is redundancies are redundancies. So we don't know if an order says to launch nuclear weapons. We just know that an order comes in that says to insert the keys and turn them. And if it's a valid order that comes in, then the machine will let us insert our keys, we will turn our keys, and then the machine will do what the machine does. Sometimes that order that's coming in is saying launch nuclear missiles. Sometimes that order that's coming in is just a drill to make sure that the two people in the capsule turn their keys.
Oh, really? So you never know the difference.
We're just a redundancy of redundancy, man.
It seems hard to me to understand how someone would stay in that job for a long period of time. So they must have like really high attrition.
They have shockingly low attrition because they do such a good job of psychologically identifying the right people for that job.
Were they scouting you, do you think, from a very early age to eventually go into the CIA?
No, I don't believe so. I think CIA is far too practical to do anything that requires scouting people from a young age. I think what more realistically happened is that they had a very simple algorithm that they had applied to every government website, so that when people of a certain profile applied to a job on a government website, then they'd get a flash on their screen, just like I did, that said, hey, we appreciate your application. We'd like to have a different recruiter contact you for a different opportunity.
What were you applying for on the government website when that pop-up came up?
Yeah, I was applying for the Peace Corps. I was trying to get into the U.S. Peace Corps. because after spending 2 years underground waiting to launch nuclear missiles, I thought that it'd be great to get out of the Air Force and go do the exact opposite. Kind of like if you've ever had a really bad breakup, you go looking for the exact opposite of the person you just broke up with. That's how I felt.
And the Peace Corps does sort of humanitarian work around the world.
Exactly right. I was looking to teach children English in Africa, or save orphans, or do microfinance, or build huts. Like I was looking to do something that built the world up instead of just waiting to tear the world down.
You get this pop-up as you're applying, and it says, another recruiter wants to speak to you or something. What's to that effect? What happens then?
So that's when being a 27-year-old single guy kicks in, and you think to yourself, there might be something better. So once you think to yourself, there might be something better, it's really easy to say, yes, like I'll wait. And that's all the screen is asking you to do, is just pause my application for 72 hours. So it's easy to click yes, and then you fall out of that website, and you're just on hold for 72 hours. Either a better opportunity is going to happen, and someone's going to call me, or no one's going to call me, and I can come right back and finish my application. But just to say no means to miss the opportunity, and that wasn't me.
And then within 72 hours, you get a call?
Within 24 hours, I got a call. Yeah, I got a call from an unlisted number. It just said 703. And there was a woman on the other end of the line. She gave me her first name, but I don't remember what her first name was. And she basically, confirmed who I was, and confirmed that I was applying to the Peace Corps, asked me if I'd be open for other government opportunities. And then she said that there might be opportunities in the national security sector that I'd be interested in, and she'd like to send me an airline ticket and a hotel reservation and a rental car reservation to come up to DC to hear more about the job.
What did you think at that point?
I thought it was a prank call. I thought that the call wasn't real. I thought the call was maybe it was some kind of gimmick, or maybe it was something else, or it just didn't sound real. Especially not when she said she was going to send me a paper airline ticket, and she was going to send me all this stuff in the mail overnight FedEx. But then it showed up. And then when it showed up, again, that 27-year-old single male kicked in, and I was like, well, now I have a ticket. Let's see where the ticket goes. And let's go to the reservation counter at the rental car desk. And is this a real rental car reservation? Is it a real reservation? Is there a real hotel? And then you just kind of follow the breadcrumbs.
The rental car reservation's real, the airline ticket's real, you fly out there, you land, what happens next?
You get another phone call that says, hey, did you get in safe? And then they tell you the address for where you're supposed to show up the next day. And then you go, it's a nondescript building, and you walk in, and for me, I walked in, there were 10 or so other people in the waiting room. None of us really knew what we were there for. We all knew that we were there for something related to a government job. Everybody's dressed essentially the same way. And you find out this person's in finance, and that lady came from social work, and whatever else it might be. And then eventually somebody comes out and calls you into a room, and then you go through the first, what we call the first round of interviews. And it's just kind of like a fit to see what you're interested in, what you're not interested in, et cetera. It was at the end of that first interview that the lady said to me that I might be a good fit for the National Clandestine Service, the CIA. Which I didn't know what that was at the time. And then she basically broke it down, and she was just like you and I did at the beginning of this conversation. She was like, essentially, we want you to be a field officer, or what you might know from the movies as a spy. And of course, for me, my 7-year-old self was like, I'm going to be a what? Like, you want me to be a spy? You want me to, like drive fancy cars and wear tuxedos and always have a beautiful woman on my side? Like, sign me up for that. Starving children in Africa can wait. I want to do that. But then of course, comes the byline afterwards, where she's like, you can't tell anybody that this is what you're now applying for. We're going to move you on to the second phase of interviews. We need you to go back to your hotel and go back to Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana and live your normal life. And if anybody asks you why you're out here, just tell them that you came out here applying for a government position, and you don't know whether or not you're going to get it. And in the meantime, we'll be in touch.
And then they get in touch again.
And then they get in touch again. And then you go through multiple more rounds of interviews. So they fly you usually back to the DC area, and then the interviews just get kind of more intense. You go from a fit interview to a kind of like a test, like a interview that's more like a test with somebody else. They ask you scenario-based questions. They give you puzzles. They ask you some light psychological stuff.
When you got that letter in the post saying that you'd been offered a role, how did you feel?
Great.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd done everything right. I felt like I mean, there was a part of me that says, that says, and I still kind of follow this mantra, like, who gets to do this? So that felt amazing. And then there was a ton, to use your word, a ton of validation. Of course, like, now I get it. Now I know why I went to a college I didn't like. Now I know why I put up with a stepdad and listen to my mom. And I don't need love. You don't need support. You don't need a family that cares about you as a person. All you need is to check the fucking boxes. Because this is where you get to go when you check the boxes. And now that I've checked all the boxes, I'm free. So it doesn't really work that way. Because when you're hired because you check boxes, the boxes just change. But you still have to check the boxes.
And at that point, it goes from interview to, I guess, training.
Correct.
During that whole interview process, you're not allowed to tell anyone, I'm guessing.
Right.
Even your family?
Nope.
So what do you tell your family that you've been up to during that period?
So this is what's nice about their recruitment process. Remember I told you earlier that I accepted as a child that there are times that you have to lie, and there are secrets that you have to keep. This was just a secret I had to keep and a lie that I had to tell. So I told my family that I was looking at getting out of the Air Force. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Maybe I'd go work for the government. And I was going to DC to do some government interviews. I was never close to my family. From the time I left for the Air Force Academy at 18, I mean, I went home maybe once a year. Every time I tried to go home, it was always a kerfluffle because my parents didn't want to buy the airline ticket because it was expensive, and I didn't have money to buy an airline ticket, so I had to ask them. And it was the same song and dance every Christmas holiday. Right? Like, I'd like to come home. I don't have any money. Well, we don't have any money either. Maybe you shouldn't come home. So it was really easy to be 27 years old. Almost 10 years after that, I'm not really close to my family. So I tell them as little as possible. I had a girlfriend at the time. She was a great girlfriend, but she wasn't as great as being a CIA officer was going to be. Right? I had friends at the time, but they weren't as cool as being a CIA officer would be. Right? So it was really easy to just start cutting off the branches of my social tree because I was going to go do something awesome. I didn't need anybody else.
Did the CIA tell you to disconnect from these people at all?
They told you that you would have to eventually. And they explain how you're going to go into covert service. You're going to go into clandestine service. You can't take a whole Rolodex of people with you. So one of the things that they asked during our psychological evaluation was, how much do you need close relationships and close peers, and how do you feel about severing ties with what we sometimes call like secondary or tertiary relationships, friends, college friends. Like a primary relationship is your spouse, a secondary relationship is all your close friends, a tertiary relationship is somebody who you work with. So like, how do you feel about cutting off all those not so important relationships? And for me, it was easy. Right? I was like, let's go. I'm going to go do something amazing. I don't need college friends to go do something amazing.
Do you think your appearance and ethnicity factored into the CIA's decision to recruit you?
Absolutely. In 2007, so just to take everybody back, 2007 was 6 years after 9/11. It was 3 years after the CIA 9/11 Commission, or the U.S. government 9/11 Commission came out, which basically said that everything CIA had been doing up to 2001 was wrong. They were focused in a Cold War era. They were not focused on terrorism. They were focused on Ivy League Caucasian graduates as being the next generation of CIA officer, instead of diversifying for a diversified world. So without a doubt, they were looking for different people. They were looking for young people, colored people, LGBTQ plus people who could connect with the modern day threat around the world. And then I think on top of being brown and ethnic, I also came with a huge government file because I had been part of the Air Force since I was 18 years old. So they knew everything about my health, everything about my mental health, everything about my academic, athletic performance in college. They knew everything about me. And I think that's part of why my onboarding process took about 9 months, where the typical onboarding process takes about 18 months.
How do they train you to become a CIA agent?
So a lot of the training part is classified still, so I can't talk about it. But there's a school that we go to. It's fairly publicly known, but I can't acknowledge what it is and isn't. And we go there for many months. And we basically were pulled out of everyday life and we're put into a controlled, simulated world. And inside that simulated world, they kind of control what's happening around us. So if you can imagine almost like going from being taken out of your apartment where you live, and now you're put into a different apartment, but the apartment that you're put into is part of a giant game. And somebody else controls all the game. So they control the news that's on the TV, and they control the cars that are on the road, and they control everything except the weather, basically. So they can create multiple different types of scenarios where you exercise the skills that they taught you, from driving to first response, first aid response, to lying, living and working under alias identities, all that stuff. So you're put in a very controlled environment for a long period of time where they can test all of your tradecraft that you're taught.
It's very expensive. It must be very expensive for them to train a CIA agent.
Right. That's why they train us in batches. So there's generally 2 to 3 batches a year that go through different types of training. And there's different classifications of officers too, right? So your analysts are different than your technical officers who are different than your field officers. So what they'll do is they'll batch you into, or at least what they did in 2007, is they would batch you along with your discipline, and then send a batch to training. And then everybody goes through the same lectures during the day, just like university. And everybody goes through a series of exercises at different times of the day and different times of the week. But essentially, everybody goes through the same curriculum. And everybody has the same grades. And then those grades are all measured against each other, and the bottom performers are cut out, and the top performers get to stay.
That curriculum. What is involved in that curriculum? You mentioned a few things there. Is learning how to kill people involved in the curriculum?
No, that is not involved in the curriculum. Not at the basic training level.
Do they teach you that?
They teach some people that, but they don't teach everybody that. It depends on the discipline that you're part of. If you're a paramilitary officer, you need to learn how to kill. And you need to learn how to kill in different ways. Kill quickly, kill quietly, kill with blunt weapons, clear with bladed weapons, or kill with bladed weapons, kill with projectile weapons. So kill with explosives. De-arm explosives. So it all depends on the caliber, the level of officer that you kind of put into. So paramilitary, they must learn that. But your standard human intelligence field collector, they need to learn how to live and work without being caught. So if you kill somebody, it's a big deal. You might get caught. So it's much easier to teach that person how to manipulate, how to collect secrets, how to live and operate without ever being detected. Whereas a paramilitary officer doesn't need to learn all that.
They teach you how to lie.
They teach you how to lie.
How do they teach someone how to lie?
It starts with a foundation of making sure that you recruit people who are already liars. And then when you're sitting across from a liar, you can start to understand if they're a good liar or not very quickly. You've probably talked to people who are bad liars.
Talk to everything.
So you know when someone's a bad liar. So from that, you can identify people who are good liars. And then when you do find a good liar, you start to teach them what they already naturally do that makes them a good liar. And then you start to teach them how to refine that skill. And you start to teach them how bad liars operate, and how you can detect a bad liar, and how you gain advantages with lies, and how to handle lies. As an example, because I promised skills. Bad liars talk a lot. Good liars talk a little. Because the more you talk, the more you run the risk of undermining your own lie. Bad liars make a lot of statements. Good liars ask a lot of questions. Because if you ask questions, you're not really disclosing anything about yourself. So if you think back and if you remember ever going to a party, or ever having a date, or ever being in a social environment where there was somebody there that made you feel so interesting, but you didn't know anything about them, you were talking to a very good liar.
What about body language? Is that a factor in lying?
Absolutely. I mean, body language is a factor in everything, but body language is especially a factor in lying. Because Again, going back to the idea of a skilled liar versus an unskilled liar, a skilled liar knows how to appear like they are telling the truth with their words and with their body, whereas an unskilled liar often has a disconnect, and their body will say a different message than what their mouth is saying. Consider your stereotypical jock, your standard European footballer, or your American jock. A lot of times they'll be portrayed as like somebody like, they sit bigger than life and all this other stuff, right? Their body shows confidence and openness, but then when they talk, they sound like idiots, right? I'm sure, like totally, like dude, that lady, like whatever. There's a disconnect. their voice does not demonstrate the same confidence that their body demonstrates. So you know that person is lying. What they're lying about is not necessarily just the content of what they're saying, but they recognize they can't cognitively accept the fact that they are in a position where they are telling an untruth. And that untruth at a minimum is that they are not super confident and super comfortable. They are actually uncomfortable and they are not feeling confident. And that's why they're stammering over themselves.
So when you were lying to someone based on your training, would you think a lot about your body language?
Yes.
And what would you do? What were the principles of making sure your body language wasn't letting the cat out of the bag, per se?
So one of the first things to do when you're trying to lie to somebody, and again, we're now talking about how to lie to somebody. You shouldn't want to learn how to lie to somebody. You should want to learn how to know if somebody's lying to you. But we always start this way, where we're afraid to ask the real question, which is how do I know if I'm being lied to? Because that shows vulnerability. But if you want to learn how to lie to somebody, the first thing you do is you mimic the person. Look at you and I right now. We are mirrored. Are your hands connected under the table?
Yeah.
So am I. Are your feet crossed under your seat?
Yeah.
So am mine. We are mirrored right now. Which means when you look at me, subconsciously you see yourself. I want you to see yourself in this exercise because if you see yourself, your initial instinctive response is going to be trust. Because who do you trust in the whole world? You trust yourself. So the first step to being able to lie effectively is to be able to mirror the person you're lying to. If I was coming at you like right away, you're going to be like, I don't know who this guy is, right? And similarly, if I was to be like,
just for people on audio, he's just like doing different postures and body languages. So that are far away from my own. Putting his hands on the table, etc. So okay, makes sense.
So we want to mirror first, and you mirror because mirroring creates a foundation of trust. Subconsciously creates a foundation of trust. And then once you have that foundation of trust, you just start kind of pushing the envelope more and more with the untruth or with the fabrication that you're creating, the lie. Right.
Is there anything else on the subject of telling a lie to someone that's believable that we need to be aware of in terms of skills?
Yes. So first, the whole idea about
It's really cool.
there's two important ideas that get glorified in social media that are just inaccurate. And the first is called eye movements. You can't actually tell if somebody's lying to you based on where they place their eyes. Because while there are certain elements of eye movements that have biological relevancy, there's many more things about eye movements that don't have biological relevancy, right? So what I mean by that is, if I ask you, what's your oldest memory? You just look to your left. It's natural to look to your left when you're from a Western country because chronologically, timelines start on the left. So when you ask somebody a question about time and they look to the left, up, down, or in the middle, generally speaking, that has biological relevance. So it's a low probability that they're lying, but they still could be lying. When you ask somebody a question and they look to the upper right or the lower right or wherever they might look, if there's not necessarily biological relevancy because they could be looking up and to the right because down and to the left it's too bright. And they could be looking in any number of directions because maybe they have, a headache or maybe they have something else going on. The ability to create some sense of probability about why they're making the eye movements they're making is too difficult. So you can't assess someone's honesty or dishonesty based off of eye movements, even though you're going to hear that you can from Instagram influencers and Discord and everywhere on the internet. You're going to hear that there's some connection that you can make justifiably. It's not true. The same thing is also true. So it is also an untruth that you can rely on something known as micro expressions. Micro expressions being the number of times your eyes blink or the twitch in your face, or if you're sucking on your lips, these ideas that get glorified through social media as indicators of deceit. The truth is you don't know if someone is lying to you until you have had enough time with the person to establish what's known as a baseline. A baseline means what's normal for you. So I'll just use you as an example. 10 minutes before the cameras turned on, you were a totally different person. Your energy is different. You're so much more conversational. Like you're an awesome, friendly guy when the cameras are not on. but you turn into an interviewer when the cameras turn on. Totally rational, totally logical, makes total sense. That doesn't mean that you're lying now and you were telling the truth then. It means that the environment has changed, and nobody would know that if there wasn't a baseline. Most people that watch you don't ever know what you're like outside of this baseline.
Nope.
So you have to get to know the person and then understand the variance that's unusual to understand if they're lying to you.
Exactly. We call it time on target. You need time on target so that you can understand the delta, the change between their baseline and whatever pressure you're putting them under.
Was there any sort of consistent telltale signs that someone was lying to you in an interaction? Like, you know what I mean? Certain, nervous things that they do change, what are those variances that you might see that you go, this person's now lying to me?
Yeah. So with unskilled liars, it becomes much easier. Because a lot of times with skilled liars, with people who have either learned how to lie through formal training or people who have learned how to lie through the school of hard knocks, when there's people who are skilled liars, it's difficult to find generic tells. With people who are unskilled liars, it's much easier to find generic tells. There are people who you've heard of being on the hot seat. It's a phrase we use in Western culture pretty often. Like when someone is under pressure, we call them being in a hot seat. When you've got an unskilled liar, they can't stop moving their body. Like they're always uncomfortable and they just keep moving and they keep twitching and they keep fidgeting. And it's like they're sitting in a hot seat. That is one of the biggest tells of an unskilled liar. And again, anybody who's ever had like a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old try to lie to them, they know what that looks like. They can't make eye contact. They do a lot of like verbal noises that aren't actual words. They can't get comfortable. They keep moving around. They keep shifting. Shifty. Those are all those words came from real world examples of an unskilled liar trying to lie. But you don't need micro expressions of the face or to know which way their eyes are tracking in order to pick up on that.
Going back to your training then, what were some of the other most important transferable skills that you learned throughout that process?
The most interesting and useful things that we learned during training actually had to do with the psychological processes that people go through and being able to understand the process and then predict and identify when the process is happening. Those are the things that really make a huge difference. Yes, it's cool to learn how to do a dead drop. And yes, it's cool to learn how to detect surveillance or how to drive a car through a roadblock, right? Those are all very interesting things. But the most useful things are the things that you can use all day, every day, through multiple types of interactions. And there are a series of processes, a number of processes that we learned that had to do with human psychology. One of those processes is understanding the idea of core motivations. Core motivations are, remember how we talked about manipulation and motivation are two sides of the same coin? When you understand all the different options of the currency that you're working with, you can work with it more effectively. So people are generally, despite age, race, creed, or religion, people have 4 basic motivations. And we call those 4 basic motivations RICE, R-I-C-E, stands for reward, ideology, coercion, and ego. Reward is anything that you want. Money, free vacations, pat on the back, women, alcohol. If that's something that you want and me giving it to you gives you what you want, then that's a reward. People do lots of crazy things for rewards.
And these rewards change over time.
And based on person.
Okay.
Right? The second primary motivator is ideology. Ideology is the things that you believe in. People do crazy things for the things they believe in, whether it's their religion, whether it's their country, whether it's family, whether it's what they believe is morally correct, right? So if you can speak to somebody through the lens of their ideology, you can get them to do incredible things. C is coercion. Coercion is all the negative things: guilt, shame, blackmail, anything that you do to force someone to take certain action by leaning into the negative element of motivation, which is also known as manipulation. That falls under the C, or coercion. And then E, ego, is everything that has to do with how the person views themselves. So oftentimes ego gets oversimplified into thinking that it's just people who have a big ego, right? Somebody like Donald Trump who has a big ego, or you name the famous actor who has a big ego. Ego is also people who don't have big egos. Mother Teresa had an ego. She wanted to sacrifice for other people. She wanted other people to see her sacrificing for other people. That is also ego. So with these 4 core motivations, You have a rubric, a process to understand why other people do what they do. If you understand why other people do what they do, all you have to do is connect what they care about with what you want them to do, and you just increase the probability of them doing what you want them to do.
Of these 4 core motivations, is there an order of the strength that they have over people? So if you were really trying to get someone to do something, you'd focus on this core motivation over that one?
Yes, absolutely. Ideology is the strongest. Ego is the second strongest. Reward is the third strongest, and coercion is the weakest. This is one of the things that movies get wrong. Movies try to make it look like you can blackmail somebody or hold a gun to their head and get them to do what you want them to do. In the real world, once you hold a gun to someone's head, they never trust you again. You can never get them to do something twice. Whereas if you appeal to their ideology, doing this is good for your country, doing this is good for your family, doing this is good for your health. If you can appeal to someone's ideology, they'll do what you tell them to do for a long time because they'll trust you.
Is this really the essence of manipulation then?
That is the essence of motivation and manipulation, the same coin. You'll hear me come back to this because one of the things that people really struggle with outside of intelligence is they feel like they have to label things as good or bad. When you have moral flexibility, you take away good and bad. Everything just becomes a question of utility or productivity. If you need someone to do something and you can motivate them, then you should. But if you need someone to do something and you can't motivate them, that's a green light to manipulate them because you still need them to do what you need them to do. If you feel bad about manipulating somebody, you are not going to do well in the intelligence world.
How might so you said the ideology is the strongest of the 4 of the core motivations. How might you go about finding out someone's ideology in the context of business and life?
A lot of times people will volunteer it to you. There's 2 ways. If you're a keen observer, people will volunteer it to you. You've already volunteered that you are ideologically predisposed to fatherhood. You've already talked about it. The reason that you're worried about fucking up your kids that you don't even have yet is because you're thinking about fatherhood. So clearly you are ideologically predisposed to what it means to be a responsible father. You want to be seen as a responsible father. Mm-hmm. That plays into your ego as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure when you're talking to your partner, if you guys are already looking at where would we go to school? Where would we live? What kind of diapers should we use? If you're even thinking about that, you're thinking about it through the lens of the ideology of being an engaged, present, helpful, loving father, right? So people will volunteer it. Your customer base will volunteer to you what their ideologies are. They'll volunteer their politics. They'll volunteer their pain from their childhood. They'll volunteer their pain from business.
If you listen.
If you listen. The second way that you can get to understand the ideology of your customer base is through active marketing, the right kind of marketing, not mass marketing, not the kind of garbage that you see on Instagram and YouTube about, how to make people believe in your brand because you use the right colors. But actual marketing where you present a message and that message was crafted with an emotion behind it. People who respond to that intentionally crafted message are showing what their motivations are because they were clearly motivated enough by the message to take action. You've heard a lot of people talk about narrative, especially in politics. There's there's the liberal narrative, and there's the Republican narrative, and there's the conservative narrative, and the church narrative. And people talk a lot about narrative. Narrative is not the power in influence. The power in influence actually comes from messaging. It takes 2 steps to get to a narrative. It takes messaging first, and then messaging builds a narrative. If you think about messaging, messaging is supposed to be an emotional thing. Just a statement, just a message, just like a text message, right? Are you afraid of being the kind of father that isn't present for your kids? That creates emotion in the right, ideologically predisposed person. There's no woman out there who's going to be motivated by that. She might be motivated to tell her partner about that, but it's not going to resonate with her like it resonates with me as a father of young children. But that's just the message. Then the narrative is not emotional in nature. The narrative is logical in nature. So you use an emotional message to communicate a logical narrative. Are you afraid of being the kind of father that's not present for your child? Oh man, that pulls at my heartstrings. Well, then all you have to do is sign up for this app that reminds you every Sunday to read your kids a story. And you're like, oh, that makes total sense. All I need is a reminder and I'm going to be a good dad. And that's messaging and narrative. The same thing happens in politics. The same thing happens in geopolitics. The same thing happens the whole world over. Because in the intelligence world, we understand messaging and narrative. We know how to use messaging and narrative. It's how you elect a president. It's the reason that Saudi Arabia went to war with Iran over Yemen. Like it's everybody understands at a national security level the idea of creating a message or a narrative using emotional messaging. But when it comes to business, people don't get it yet. They haven't learned that lesson yet because they've all been taught through an MBA program or something else that you sell toothpaste by creating more toothpaste with brighter colors on more shelves.
Thinking about ideology and everything you just said there, has your experience over the last, 20, 30 years really made you rethink and look at the world entirely differently? Because if you are so focused and able to detect and understand messaging and narrative, you must just see it everywhere you go in everything you do.
Right. So there were two big aha moments for me. And the first was in the very beginning parts of my training at CIA. I mean, when I went through all of the CIA recruiting process and all of my time in the military, I just felt like I was doing the right thing. I just felt like I was doing a good job. I felt like I was special, right? Like, wow, I must be super special because I'm getting picked for the National Clandestine Service. So I felt like I was doing everything right. And then I actually ended up going through my training program where they confirmed that I actually was broken in certain ways. I was high performing because I had trauma as a child. I lie and I steal and I have no problem with sociopathy because I'm not mentally healthy, right? Like that's basically what they confirmed. Like you're wired in a certain way that's really useful, but you're actually not neurotypical. You're not successful in the way that you thought you were successful, but you are still very useful. And oh, by the way, you're even more special because now you work for CIA. So don't ever stop working for CIA because they know that what drives us is our ideology, right? Our ideology and then our ego. So they hook us that way. So for me, that was my first big aha moment because up until then, I always thought maybe I understood the world, but nobody else seemed to understand it the way I understood it. Like I could see the hypocrisy in high school and I could see the hypocrisy in my mom and my dad, and they would do things that were different than what they would tell me to do. And I don't understand, how is the customer always right? But then like sometimes the company wins the lawsuit. Like it doesn't make sense. How is there a legal structure, but criminals don't go to jail if there's a legal structure? Like I remember seeing it all and thinking that it didn't make sense, but never actually being confident enough to say anything about it because it was a secret and I didn't feel comfortable sharing that secret. CIA then taught me what you're seeing is actually the world as it really is. And let's train you to show you and give you a vocabulary to understand what you're seeing. Let's teach you about human psychology so you understand why it works the way that it works, why everybody sees it and nobody talks about it. Right. So that was my first big aha moment. And then my second big aha moment came when I left CIA and I was unemployed for like 6 months living in my in-laws' converted garage with a 1-year-old child, wondering how the fuck I did so many things so wrong that I couldn't get a job, even though I was just part of the CIA. And in that time, feeling like just the world's biggest loser, the only skill that I could lean on was what the CIA had taught me to do. So then I lied my way into a Fortune 10 company, and all of a sudden I wasn't a loser anymore. And once I realized that I could use CIA skills to succeed in business, that was my second big aha moment. So now everything I see through a lens of CIA skills in a business world.
Perception versus perspective was one of the other things that I've heard you talk about. Was a quite a big, I guess, shift in understanding, but something that the regular person doesn't really understand.
Yeah. So the idea of perception and perspective, I have to define them first, right? Perception is what you believe you see. Where you sit is how you perceive the world around you. Perspective is how other people see where you're sitting. So when I think about us right now across the table from each other, my perception is what I see of you. Your perspective is very different than my perception, right? At a minimum, I'm looking at you with a background that's different than when you're looking at me with a background. So the benefit, the advantage that CIA gives its field officers is that it trains us to recognize and distrust our perception, because perception really only comes from one source, and that is your own five senses. You are the source of information for your perception. So for anybody who's ever seen like a little pile of socks in the lower left-hand corner and they thought it was a rat and they jump until they realize it's socks, that is your perception lying to you. Perspective means that you get data objectively from the world around you. So if you're in your room and you see a pile of black in the corner, your perspective tells you, this is your room. There's never been a rat in your room ever before. That pile in the corner is probably something like socks. Your perspective keeps things objective. Perception makes things very subjective or very emotional. So CIA trains us to lean into our perspective, gain perspective, think about things objectively, because if you lean on your perception, you're leaning on emotions, and emotions are very likely wrong.
How can I train myself to lean more on my perspective?
There's two really quick things that you can do. The first is immediately distrust your emotions. Know right away when you're feeling emotions. In other words, what I'm saying is don't trust your gut, which is the antithesis of what most people tell you to do. Most people say, trust your gut. I'm telling you right now, your gut is more often than not lying to you, because your gut is based in emotion. Your girlfriend's not about to dump you. Your boyfriend isn't cheating on you. You're not about to go bankrupt. Nobody cares about the zit on your nose, right? That is most likely true. There's a small chance that your perception is correct, but when it comes to gambling, are you going to bet on the small chance or the bigger chance? You should always gamble on the bigger chance. The bigger chance you only really understand through perspective. If you have perspective on something, then you have multiple data points on something. So when you feel yourself getting emotional, stop and let your emotion happen for a second, right? I feel nervous. I feel anxious. I feel doubtful. Okay. I probably don't have to. You probably shouldn't, because whoever's sitting across the table from you, whoever's coming into the room with you, whoever else is on the bus with you, they are all focused on 1,000 different things. And the things that they're focused on most likely don't include you.
Sounds easier said than done.
Correct.
Is that a process of...
With that, guys, I'm in the stream a little early today. I don't know, I'm tired. I'm gonna start off early tomorrow. We're gonna have a good stream tomorrow. I'm really dead ass tired now. So
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to be the first to welcome you to the official completion ceremony of the Tokyo Bay City Hotel. As you know, not only does Bay City have this hotel, but an international convention center and an amusement park as well. All of these will be opening tomorrow.
Okay, so why do you think Joe's so late?
Yeah, and Falcon too.
Well, Falcon's not usually late like this, so I'm willing to bet that at least he's got a good excuse.
Maybe.
But not that Joe! He's probably accosting girls in the lobby, reciting poetry to them! He must die.
Come back here!
The entire complex is controlled by a central computer, which is located safely underground beneath the hotel. The computer is directly linked to the Bay City network, and from there can access communication bridges throughout the world, making this hotel a gateway to the future.
Wow, incredible.
Not a single lecherous nookie hound in sight. Where are you, Joe?
Where is it? No, that's not it. Whose are these? Sure enough, that stupid Marine's gone too. I'm screwed. I can't believe I lost Corey's note. Oh, what am I gonna do for dinner? I'm starving. Somebody tell me where the free food is. A babe. Hey, you got some nice legs.
Thank you. I work out.
Well, you should stick with it. You're getting results.
Well, you've listened to me prattle on about the truly amazing wonders of Bay City long enough. So why don't we liven this shindig up a little bit with a special toast? And after that, please go ahead and partake of the many wonderful dishes we've prepared for you.
Cody, let's give up on the guys, attack the buffet, and just stuff ourselves silly.
Great idea! Oh, that looks good over there. Oh, you know we're gonna need some of these.
A toast to the bright future of Bay City. Kampai!
Kampai!
Deliveries go around back. What are you people loading in anyway?
Hey, wait! Stop that!
Who are you?
Some carbohydrates, all right, and then a little protein to balance that out, and then, oh, hello, Mr. Lobster.
Cody.
Huh? What's up?
Take it easy, would you? Everyone's staring at us.
Oh!
I'll get that
Hello? Where are you rushing off to in such a hurry? Why don't we go to a restaurant and you can buy me some dinner?
Let go, creep! I'm in a hurry!
Are you running from somebody? Don't worry, I can help you with that. What the hell's going on?
Keep your hands off of this one.
No way! I saw her first! Get your own! Stop! Wait a second, you big freak! You already have Mickey! This one's mine!
Damn it, Joe, I'm serious. Leave her alone.
Well, Falcon, you leave me no choice but to use this!
Get down!
Hey, wait! I think she likes you! Please, Falcon, I'll take the girl and you can pet the putty tat.
Get off me right now!
Huh? Shit! Wait!
Out of my way!
Oh, what the hell? Stop it! What do you think you're doing? You're completely trashing my car!
Your car's trash anyway.
Yeah, but it's my piece of trash! Oh, my poor car!
If you're coming along, I suggest you hang on tight.
Hey, where the hell did you learn to drive?
Would you like to drive for a while?
Would you like to kiss my
So, who the hell were those two?
Falcon and City Hunter. Nobodies.
Damn it! The mission has been leaked, hasn't it, Claude?
The mission is going perfectly well, except that they are following us.
What? Do something! Get rid of them!
Don't be concerned, General Gilliam. We have made arrangements for them.
This place.
What?
I'm driving the car! Go ahead and kill them!
No! There's a bright idea!
Target has been eliminated.
Good. Secure the bridge.
Roger.
I wonder if Falcon made it out of there all right. Well, if not, that's what he gets for chasing up my woman!
Hey, let's eat this now while we've got time.
Yeah. This is area F5. Reporting in for status.
Man, bet they kept all the good food back at the hotel.
F5 out.
Huh?
Hey!
Ooh! Thanks for the snack!
You stole our food!
Delicious!
Report.
Intruder in area F5.
That's impossible. Is he armed? Describe him to me.
Male, dark hair, and really hungry.
Just kill him and don't bother me.
Oh, okay. Woo! Nookie, radar on! And through the... What is their problem? Oh. Well, I guess Falcon's still alive.
Area F7, we're being attacked by a huge ball guy. Okay.
Gomez, we have a minor problem. Deal with it.
Right.
We don't want to upset the partygoers just yet.
I'd like to thank you again for your generous invitation.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. I've enjoyed being a patron at your restaurant. By the way, where's that large gentleman that works for you?
Well, he was supposed to have been here, but I'm sure something important must have come up.
Oh, Mickey, look at the fireworks!
Huh? Fireworks? But no fireworks were planned.
We have a situation here. Get the lights on.
Sir!
Okay, that's enough hanging around for one evening. Back on Nookie Patrol!
Stop screwing around and start fighting!
Hey, where's the girl?
It won't matter if you're dead.
If you want me to help you, you have to tell me her name. Whoa!
Her what? Don't you mean the name of her army?
Falcon! Falcon, come in, please.
Was that Sandra? Tell me you're not working for her now.
Shut up.
Falcon, come in, please. I need a status report.
Oh, let me guess. She's blackmailing you.
Damn you!
Hey, Sandra, what's up?
Joe? Is that you?
Ow!
Nothing to report just yet.
Uncle!
Now just hold still a minute.
Why is Joe there?
What do you think's going on down there?
Can't tell.
Wait here.
Don't hesitate to shoot anyone who resists!